Okay. Good afternoon, children. So in the last class we discussed about derivatives, isn't it? We learned how to find the derivatives of different functions. We learned methods of differentiation using logarithmic functions, using implicit functions in parametric form, and all we learned. So today we are going to start with the new chapter, Applications of Derivatives. Chapter 6, Applications of Derivatives. Okay, if you look in, those who have the textbook, take the textbook. Take your textbook. You take the index page. I think in first volume, that is the last chapter. Okay, when this chapter gets over, we are completing the first volume. But it's a lengthy chapter. Okay, it's not a small chapter, it's a lengthy chapter. Okay, now take the index page. In index page, you take the applications of derivatives. In applications of derivatives, if you take that chapter, Achyut, please read out the topics there. Are you all having the textbook? Michael, have the textbook? Yes, good. Okay, Michael. Sania, show your textbook. Yes. Rijas, Emmanuel. Where is Emmanuel? Yes, good. Very good. Naureen. Okay, children. Now, Achyut, please read the topics there. In chapter 7. Sorry, not chapter 6. From the in the index page.
Application of derivatives.
Under that, which all the topics are there?
Introduction, rate of change of quantity, increasing and decreasing function, tangent and normal, approximation, and maximum.
Minima. Okay, children. So we have the first topic is rate of change of quantities. For the time being, I am going not to take that part because it is in the last year's deleted portion. For the time being, I am not going to take. Is it clear? Okay, once we get the revised syllabus, we can go through it, and if it is there means we will do. For the time being, that's why, don't mark it with pen, mark it with the pencil. If you mark it with the pen, then finally you will be deciding that it is not there. If sometimes if they include. So mark it with the pencil. For the time being, I am not going to start with the rate of change of quantities. The next one is increasing and decreasing functions. That one we are going to start with today. It's an important topic. Okay, you'll get 5-mark questions from that part. It's an important topic. Again, tangents and normals is there. That one also we will learn. And next topic is approximations, isn't it? The next topic, is it approximations? Approximations also. Last year it is deleted. So, we will not be doing that one for the time being. Once we get the revised syllabus, we can check it and we can do. The last topic, maxima, minima, is a very important one. Okay. So, here in this topic, till the 5th chapter we did all. In 5th chapter, we missed out one topic, that is Rolle's theorem and mean value theorem. Mark it, because you should know that. Okay. So, till 4th one, we did all the topics. We didn't skip any of the chapter. Okay, we learnt everything. But in 5th one, which part is left out? Mean value theorem. Now in 6th one, I am going to leave the last year's deleted portion. Rate of change of quantities and the approximations. Okay. So we are going to start with the new topic, new chapter, write down increasing and decreasing functions. Increasing and decreasing functions. In applications of derivatives, we are going to start with increasing and decreasing functions. Applications of derivatives. Under that, the first topic we are going to learn is increasing and decreasing functions. Okay, in physics and all, you will be learning this type of graphs. In velocity time graph, accelerations, whether it is increasing or decreasing, negative acceleration is there or not? Is or no? Is or no? In physics, okay, its main application is in physics and all. Not only in physics, in business also it is there. Okay, whether the profit is there, every year when you draw the graph, whether the profit is there, whether the profit is increasing or decreasing, we can find whether the function is increasing or decreasing. So, increasing and decreasing function is the topic we are going to study. Okay, so what is meant by an increasing function? So, before learning in terms of derivatives, suppose you are given a graph like this. Suppose you are given a graph, okay. Suppose it is time and this is velocity. Okay, suppose the graph is going like this. Here I am marking the time as 5. Here it is time is 20 minutes. Okay, for the time being, close your textbook. When I say, okay, mention that one, you can open. Till that you listen to the concept. Now it is 25. Again 30. 1 second. Okay, suppose this is I am drawing a graph. Okay, in physics you are learning all these types of graphs, isn't it? Velocity, time graph, is or no? I think in last 9th standard, 10th standard onwards you are learning. Okay, now look at this graph. Once we draw the graph, once we are drawing the graph, from the graph we can understand, look at the graph. Okay, here I am marking this time, here it is 5, this is 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 30, then suppose it is 35. Okay, so look at the time interval 5 to 10. So within this time interval, from looking at this graph part, what you can say? What you can tell me? Yes, tell me children, what happened? What is happening within this interval, within the time limit 5 to 20? Yes, Gauri. It is increasing, isn't it? Within the time limit, okay, 5 to 20 minutes, the speed or the velocity is increasing. After that, what happened? The driver is reducing the speed, isn't it? Look at here it is decreasing. The velocity is decreasing. But look at here, what about here? It is a straight line. There, velocity is constant, isn't it? There is no change. Although time is changing there, velocity is not changing. Again, after 30 minutes, once again he increased his speed. Okay, so once a graph is given, suppose we are drawing a graph, from the graph we can easily understand whether it is increasing or decreasing. Is it clear? What is meant by increasing? Why we are saying here it is an increasing function? Why we are saying this is increasing function? As time increases, look at here, time is increasing, 5, 6, 7. As time increases, correspondingly the velocity is also increasing. As time increases, velocity also increases. Now look at the time interval 20 to 25. Time is increasing, isn't it? Time is increasing, 22, 23. But look at the V value, it is going on decreasing. So, as time increases in the second part, velocity is decreasing. Okay, look at the next part 25 to 30. Although there is a change in time, velocity remains constant. Velocity remains constant. Again look at the next one 30 to 35. Within this interval 30 to 35, the function is increasing. Okay, it is not only with respect to velocity time graph. You can discuss about the sine curve. Sine curve. Okay, are you remembering how to draw the sine curve? Sine 0 is 0. Sine 90, we will get 1. Okay, it will be coming like this. After 90, once again it will decrease. Then it goes on like this, is or no? Okay, so not only for velocity time graph, we can, whenever we are given a graph, we can, looking at the graph, we can decide whether the function is increasing or decreasing. Okay, Okay, from the graph. Suppose we are given a function without drawing the graph. Suppose we are given a function. How to decide whether it is increasing or decreasing? Okay, that one we are going to find out using the derivatives. Instead of graph, suppose we are given a function. All the time it is not possible to draw the function. Sorry, all the time it is not possible to draw the graph. Okay, suppose we are given a complex functions and all. In that case, what we will do? We differentiate the function. We will differentiate the function. After differentiating, we will decide whether it is increasing or decreasing. Okay, that's what we are going to learn in this topic. Is it clear? Is the top, okay, what about this content? Is it clear? The content, is it clear, children? What is the condition and all we are going to learn? But, okay, what we are going to do here, is it clear? We are given a function, we are going to check whether the function is increasing or decreasing. Okay, all the times it is not possible to draw the graph. So, we are going to use derivatives and we are going to find. Okay. So, when will you say a function is increasing or when will you say a function is decreasing? As we wrote here, now we are going to generalize it. Okay. So, listen children, suppose f be a real valued function. Okay, don't write, first listen, you can mark all these points in your textbook if you want. Okay, you can write the notes afterwards, first listen. Suppose f is a real valued function. F is a real valued function. F is said to be an increasing function. We can say f is an increasing function. F is said to be an increasing function if x1 less than or equal to x2 implies f of x1 is less than f of x2. F of x1 is less than or equal to f of x2. Look at here. X1 less than or equal to x2. What you should have? F of x1 is less than f of x2. That means smaller values of x, we should get smaller values of f of x. As x increases, f of x also will increase. In this case, we say f is increasing. F is said to be increasing if x1 is less than or equal to x2 implies f of x1 is less than or equal to f of x2. And f is said to be strictly increasing. What is meant by strictly increasing? No equality will be there. F is said to be strictly increasing. Children, instead of writing increasing, I will be using this notation, arrow mark. Upward arrow mark means it is increasing. So, f is said to be strictly increasing if x1 is less than x2 implies f of x1 is strictly less than f of x2. That is, no equality will be there. Okay. Here the values may be, at times it may be equal. Okay. For example, suppose the graph is coming like this. It is going like this. Slowly only it is changing. So, sometimes at the two neighboring points we may get the same f of x. But if your graph is like this, then distinct values of x will be having distinct values of f of x. Here it is for strictly increasing, but if it is going like this means it is increasing. It is an increasing function. But look at here, it is strictly increasing. Is it clear? Is it okay, children? So, a function f is said to be increasing. Okay, we are giving only the general definition. We are not applying the derivatives. We are learning only the definition of increasing function. F is said to be increasing if x1 is less than or equal to x2 implies f of x1 is less than or equal to f of x2. The same way, f is strictly increasing if x1 less than or x1 less than x2 implies f of x1 is less than f of x2. This is about increasing function. What about decreasing? X will be increasing, but correspondingly f of x value should decrease, isn't it? As x increases, f of x value should decrease. So, f is said to be decreasing function. F is said to be a decreasing function. F is decreasing. F is a decreasing function if x1 is less than or equal to x2 implies f of x1 is greater than or equal to f of x2. X is increasing, but what happened to f of x? F of x is going on decreasing. Okay, so imagine a graph like this. Okay, it is coming from the top like this. Okay, x is increasing, but correspondingly f of value is decreasing. And f is said to be strictly decreasing. F is said to be strictly decreasing. F is said to be strictly decreasing if, so decreasing, look at this, I use this notation. Not only me, in textbooks and also in reference books also you can see this notation. If the arrow is downward arrow means it is decreasing. Upward arrow means it is increasing. So f is said to be strictly decreasing if x1 is less than x2 implies f of x1 is greater than f of x2, strictly greater than. So here also we will get a straight line coming like this. As x increases, f of x value is also decreasing. Okay? Is it clear, children? Okay. Now, suppose I am drawing a graph like this. Okay. Is it increasing or decreasing? Okay. 1 second, I will draw it somewhat. Suppose I am drawing like this. Then is it increasing or decreasing? As a whole, we can't say whether it is increasing or decreasing, isn't it? Yes or no? In one part it is increasing, again decreasing, again increasing, decreasing. So as a whole we can't say. So in this case we say this function is neither increasing nor decreasing. But if we divide it into smaller parts, in this part it is increasing. In this smaller region it is decreasing. Like that we can divide. But as a whole it is neither increasing. Okay, for imagine the sine curve. Sine 0, sine 90 and so on it goes on. Okay, we know that sine 0 is 0, sine 90 it will reach 1, then sine pi it is 0. So look at the sine curve, here it is 2 pi, again sine 2 pi it will be 0, isn't it? Now look at here, if I take the interval from 0 to 2 pi, is it increasing or decreasing? Diya, in the interval 0 to 2 pi, whether the sin x is increasing or decreasing? It is neither, okay, we can't say, it is completely, we can't say it is fully increasing or fully decreasing. So we say it is neither increasing nor decreasing. But what about this interval 0 to 90? If I take the interval 0 to 90, what we can say, Punya? In the interval 0 to 90?
Increasing.
It is increasing, isn't it? Again, if I take the interval 90 to 180, Rijas?
Decreasing.
It is decreasing, isn't it? If we divide it into smaller intervals, we can say in this interval it is increasing, in this interval it is decreasing. But in the interval 0 to pi, if I take the interval 0 to pi, pi means 180, isn't it? In the interval 0 to pi, it is neither increasing nor decreasing. We can't, okay, one part it is increasing, in the other part it is decreasing. Up to that, what we have discussed now, is it clear, children? Is it okay? Any doubt in this part? Do you understand what is meant by increasing and decreasing function? Is it okay? So now take the textbook, all of you, take the textbook. Why I insist you to take the book now means, here some important points are there, learn the definitions also. Okay, increasing and decreasing functions. Okay, so sometimes we will think that increasing and decreasing functions, this, okay, graph, this consider, reading the textbook is not needed. But this year and all, it is not like that. The reading part, reading textbook is very important. Now look at the example given here. Consider the function f of x is equal to x square. We are drawing the graph of the function f of x is equal to x square. We are drawing the parabola. Look at the values to the left of origin. You take the values to the left of origin. As x is increasing, what happens to the f of x value? What is happening there? What about the f of x value? Michael? As x increases to the left of origin, Look at the graph. Okay, from the graph what you can say? Is it increasing or decreasing? Look at the graph. Is it coming from the top to bottom? If it is coming from up to down, what you can say? Is it increasing or decreasing?
Decreasing.
Yes, it is decreasing. What about to the right? What about to the right?
Increasing.
It is increasing. Okay? It is increasing. Now, look at the definition given there. Look at the definition. Okay? So, underline the definition. Let I be an interval contained in the domain of a real valued function f. Let I be an interval contained in the domain of a real valued function f. Then f is said to be increasing on this interval I if x1 less than x2 implies f of x1 is less than f of x2. Again decreasing on I if x1 less than x2 implies f of x1 is less than f of x2. See children, here you should change the notation here. x1 is less than x2 implies f of x1 is less than f of x2. For the second case, decreasing on I if x1 is greater than x2. F of x1 is less than f of x2. And constant if f of x is equal to c. And constant function. We can say the function is constant if f of x value is everywhere it is constant. Now, look at the graph given here. Look at the graph. Yes. Yes.
For decreasing, we should make a change, right?
Yes. Here, okay. Look in your textbook. In the textbook, what is given? What is the symbol given there?
It is f of x1 is less than f of x2.
x1 less than x2 implies, what about f of x1?
F of x1 is less than f of x2.
Is it less than given there? Then accordingly you should change. Okay. x1 less than x2 less than or f of x1 is less than or equal to f of x2 means it is increasing. For decreasing, what you can write? x1 less than or equal to x2 implies f of x2 is greater than or equal, f of x1 is greater than or equal to f of x2. Or you can write the reverse, when x1 is greater than or equal to x2. For greater values, it will be f of x1 is less than or equal to f of x2. Is it clear? x1 is greater than. This way also it may be asked, children, inequalities, when they change the sign, x1 is greater than x2. So, bigger values, we should add corresponding f of x value be smaller. Yes or no, Aditya? Can you understand that point? This point, is it clear? Instead of writing x,
That point.
see?
Can you repeat once?
Okay, I'll repeat it, children. You can write like this for a decreasing function. F is said to be decreasing if x1 less than or equal to x2 implies f of x1 is greater than or equal to f of x2. You can draw the graph and you can check. Suppose this is a decreasing function. Okay, suppose this is the value 5 and this is 6. So, here you will get f of 5, here we will get f of 6. Which is here 5 is less than 6, isn't it? 5 is less than 6. Compare f of 5 and f of 6, which is bigger? Which is bigger? F of 5 is greater than f of 6. Is or no? Is or no? F of 5, here you will get a bigger value, here it is smaller value. When you mark the points here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, something, it goes on like this. So, yeah, 5 is less than 6, but the corresponding f of x value is greater than. Same thing, how we can write? Instead of writing x is less than 6, what you can write? We can write like this. 6 is greater than 5. But, okay, x1 is greater than x2. For the greater values, the reverse will happen. F of 5 is less than or equal to f of 6. 6 is greater than. Instead of writing f of 5, sorry, here also it is greater than. F of x is greater than or equal to f of x. For the smaller numbers, we will get the reverse. Okay, what is given in the textbook? Is there any? Okay, Achyut, what is the? Okay, read the content given in the textbook. Where is Achyut? Read that one. Others, please check. Is it given? One second, Achyut. I think I'm not audible. Who is? Atul, read. Atul, once read that one from the text.
On I, if x1 comma x2 in I implies f of x1 less than f of x2 for all x1 comma x2 belonging to I.
And what about the next case?
Constant on I if f of x is equal to c for all x belonging to I, where c is a constant.
Is it okay? If it is a constant, f of x value will be also a constant one. Okay. Now, sometimes you may be given with a graph. You may be given with a graph and you will be asked to identify whether it is increasing or decreasing. Whether it is increasing or decreasing. Okay. Look at the next graph given here. Okay, look at this graph. 1 second. Look at the graph given here. What you can see from this graph? First graph. Look at the first graph. Is it strictly increasing or strictly decreasing or simply increasing function or decreasing function? First one, what is given there? It is a strictly increasing function. As x is increasing, no 2 points you are getting the same value of f of x, isn't it? For distinct values of x, we are getting distinct values of f of x. So, we wrote this as strictly increasing. Again, the next one is strictly decreasing. Look at the S.
Ma'am, there is a doubt, ma'am. Ma'am, like they have given us the like 5 equations, right?
5?
Decreasing and all. In that second one and fourth one, they are telling about decreasing.
Second one and fourth one. Here.
Most of them are given exactly opposite.
x1 is less than x2. This implies. Which one you are mentioning here? Conditions?
Ma'am, 2 and 4.
Marginal revenue. Okay. This is based on the derivatives. It is decreasing on I. If x1 less than x2 implies f of x1 is greater than or equal to f of x2. Here it is simply decreasing. Here it is decreasing, and strictly decreasing means instead of less than, okay, equal to symbol is not given. For distinct values we will get no equal to will be there.
Ma'am, but can you check the second point?
Okay, see children, you write it down. Okay, from the textbook, don't get confused. I'll give the definition. Write it. Write this. Okay. I don't know what is given in the textbook. Is there any correction is there? I don't know. Anyhow, write it. Write the definition. Let f be a real valued function. Write down. Let f be a real valued function defined in the interval D. Let f be a real valued function defined in the interval D, a subset of R. D, you are taking a domain, that's all. Okay. So, let f be a real valued function defined in the interval D, subset of R. Then, the first case, f is said to be increasing. F is said to be increasing. f is said to be increasing if x1 less than x2 implies f of x1 is less than or equal to f of x2. Okay, in the side you can draw the graph. Okay, some cases it may be equal to, it is going like this, slowly it is increasing. So in some cases it will be equal to also you will get. Okay, some cases. Okay, it is increasing. Now second case, f is said to be strictly increasing. Okay, strictly increasing. If x1 is less than x2 implies no equal to will be there. Distinct values will give different values of f of x, increasing values. So here you can draw a line like this, straight line. Draw a straight line. It is strictly increasing. If x1 is less than x2 implies f of x1 is less than f of x2. Then f is said to be decreasing. F is said to be decreasing if x1 less than x2 implies f of x1 is greater than or equal to f of x2. x1 less than x2 implies f of x1 is greater than or equal to f of x2. That is, it will be coming like this. At some cases equal to will be there. And the next one, f is said to be strictly decreasing. F is said to be strictly decreasing x1 less than x2 implies f of x1 is strictly greater than f of x2. Strictly decreasing. And it is said to be a constant function. If it is said to be a constant function, when you say it is constant, f of x values is always same. Okay, it is said to be a constant function. F of x is said to be constant function if f of x is equal to, f of x1 is equal to f of x2, where x1 is not equal to x2. F is said to be a constant function if f of x1 is equal to f of x2. Now is it okay, Achyut? Here what I want to say is, sometimes don't expect the same definition. This inequality, they may change. That's what I am saying in the beginning itself. Instead of writing x1 less than x2, they may give like this. Now is it correct? Whether the meaning is changed? Checking it, check it here. Whether the meaning is changing or not. Look at this graph, decreasing function graph. That is what I explained earlier. x1 is greater than x2. Suppose this is here x1, x2, this is x1. So x1 is greater. But what about f of x1? It is smaller. Is or no? Is or no? If you draw the graph like this, this is the x graph. x-axis f of x value. Y is always f of x. So here x1 is greater than x2. But what is f of x1? F of x is less than f of x2. So they may ask like this also. Okay, inequality they will change. Suddenly don't get confused. You apply the logic and you have to think. Okay. Is it okay? Is it okay, children? Punya? Atul, I think, where is Atul, is it clear? Naureen, any doubt?
No,
Sri Hari, okay. So when you learn the definition, understand it and learn it. So if they change the sign of inequality also, you must be applying that one correctly. That is the thing needed here. Okay. x1 less than x2 implies f of x1 is less than f of x2. They may revert like that. x1 instead of writing less than, they may give greater than, and you may be asked to find the correct one, which is correct. Okay. So that logic you have to apply it. You can draw the graph and you can think it and you have to find it correctly. Is it okay, Achud? Shivani? Okay, so now till now we are checking whether the function is increasing or decreasing from the graph and all. How to find it using derivative? That's what we are going to learn. Okay, so write the heading. Conditions for increasing or decreasing functions. Conditions for increasing or decreasing functions. How we are going to find conditions for increasing or decreasing functions. Okay. So the first condition is, listen, okay, conditions for an increasing or decreasing function. So suppose f of x be the given function. Listen children, suppose f of x be the given function. Okay. So we find f dash of x. What we are doing here? We find f dash of x. If f dash of x is greater than or equal to 0, if f dash of x, if first order derivative is greater than or equal to 0, then we say f of x is an increasing function. If first order derivative is greater than or equal to 0, then we can say it is an increasing function. And if f dash of x is less than or equal to 0, less than or equal to 0 means what? Negative. When we find the first order derivative, if it is negative, then we can say f of x is a decreasing function. F of x is a decreasing function. And the third case, if f dash of x is 0, if f dash of x is 0, then we can say it is a constant function. Then f of x is a constant function. If f dash of x, when we find the derivative, if f dash of x is positive, positive means increasing, negative means it is decreasing. F dash of x is 0 means we can say f of x, the given function, is a constant function. In other words, it is said to be a stationary. No change is there. Okay. It is said to be a constant function. So f dash of x is positive means f of x is increasing. F dash of x is less than or equal to 0 means it is a decreasing function. And f dash of x is 0, it is a constant function. Okay. So when you use, okay, based on derivatives, Emmanuel, based on derivative, using derivatives, what is the condition for the given function to be increasing?
It is greater than 0 or
Which
equal
is
to
f dash of x is greater than or equal to 0. Greater than or equal to 0. It should be positive. If f dash of x is less than 0, Punya, if f dash of x is less than 0,
Decreasing.
it is a decreasing function. If f dash of x equal to 0, if f dash of x is equal to 0, then we say it is a constant function. It is a constant function. Now look at here. Okay, again it is given in the textbook. Underline this point. Okay, underline it and learn the definition. Let f be a continuous function. F be a continuous. If it is continuous only we can say is it increasing or decreasing, isn't it? If it is not continuous, we can't decide it. So let f be a continuous on closed interval AB. F is differentiable on open interval AB. Then f is increasing in closed AB if f dash of x is greater than 0. And f is decreasing in closed AB if f dash of x is less than 0. And f is a constant function if f dash of x equal to 0. F dash of x equal to 0. Okay, underline that one in your textbook. Okay, I think we will not be able to do the problem when we before doing the problem. Let me ask some questions. Okay, revise all the formulas we have learned up in derivatives. Yes, Achyut, derivative of sin x. Derivative of sin x? Cos x, okay. Derivative of tan x, Dia. Yes, Rijas, derivative of log x.
1 by x.
Gauri, derivative of e raised to ax. Derivative of e raised to ax. E raised to ax into a. Shivani, derivative of cos x.
Minus sin x.
Yes, very good. Derivative of cos x is minus sin x. Gayatri, derivative of e raised to minus x.
Minus e raised.
Minus e raised to minus x. Sania, Naureen, Ashwin, turn on your video. Ashwin, why you are absent in the last class and all? Ashwin?
Ma'am, I had to go out.
Huh?
I had to go out.
What you are saying? You had? Okay, after this class I will call you. Okay. Aryan? What is the derivative of root x? Aryan? Derivative of root x. What is the derivative of root x?
1 by 2 root x.
1 by 2 root x. What about derivative of 1 by x? Aditya?
Minus 1 by x square.
Okay, so in the next class we need all these derivatives along with the product rule and quotient rule. Okay, what is uv the whole dash? Emmanuel? uv the whole dash.
UV dash plus U dash.
Michael? u by v the whole dash. Quotient rule. What is u by v the whole dash?
U into V minus U dash V.
Learn it. Once again I'll ask the formula before you leave. Okay, open the notebook, learn it again. Atul, what is u by v the whole dash?
V u dash minus u dash v by v square.
By v square. Punya, derivative of a raised to x?
A raised to x into 1 plus log x.
A raised to x into
1 plus log x.
a raised to x.
A raised to x log a.
It is a raised to x into log a. Okay, base is constant. Okay, a raised to x. Derivative of a raised to x is a raised to x into log a. Now, derivative of x raised to x.
X raised to x into 1 plus log x.
Okay, children. Okay, with this I can end the session. Okay, Michael.